Awesome. Things like that fill my heart with joy. Yeah, something's better than nothing, I guess. It's amazing how you guys can make such a huge deal out of a simple investigation. Maybe I should stay away from now on. Whatever you say, boss. I just like contradicting you. That's Carl take the blame. If it hadn't been for a cat, we wouldn't have gotten wrapped up in that mess in the first place. Well, we do kind of take those investigations. Don't say that's my fault this time. Don't say it's my fault this time. If we had ever discussed what to do in case of an accident, we wouldn't have made such a mess of it. Yeah, I guess I was mistaken. Well, what you're saying is true, but my nerves are on edge. It'll be a while before we can all calm down again. You know how hard it is to get a job in this business, right? I'm not in a position to accuse someone else of sticking a nose where it doesn't belong. Zach's right. Anything's better than nothing. I turn off TV and leave the room for a breath of fresh air. This situation is certainly isn't that simple. The Moto Animal Control Service received an anonymous call from us, and I remember every word of it because none of the 4 people who came to the phone could speak normally and coherently for more than 3 seconds. They were all over the place. We placed more than just one anonymous call to an institution that night. Public opinion and law and order has become tense late, so news has not reported that the city's psychiatric hospital is brightly lit these days. Nico talked me out of trying to find further treatments. Even if someone switches back to the resident body, the spirit has lost its past shape completely. They don't feel human anymore. Even if they do recover their minds, I'm afraid that no one will believe their nonsense. Now the culprits have been discovered, it would have been most helpful to society to let the relevant departments put an end to the matter. Or if that guy knows anything. I can put that idea into practice, though. It's never up to me to decide whether he comes or goes. Sorry, can I use the bathroom again? I keep getting this feeling that I ate something bad. Sure, downstairs. I'll be downstairs. There's no point in dwelling on it uselessly. That's not my style. I raise my head and take a look outside. The sky's clear for once. There's no one there. No cats either. That was the... God dang it. That was the epilogue. Literally 2 minutes. Alright. Oh well. I don't think there's anyone here anymore. Guess not. So why'd you call me? It's nothing good. I saw you guys come to school with that kid. Do you know her? It's more than just knowing he actually... I'd rather not know her. What's the relation to her? She's a daughter of a friend. Sounds like an excuse, but I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm rather busy at the moment. So what do you want? I don't want to get involved again, but with all the weird stuff going on at school lately, I have to say it's for everyone's safety. Oh, what's going on? Listen. 3 years ago, she... Yasmin, it hurts. Stop trying to talk. Come take a breath. Take a deep breath. I'm sorry. I didn't expect this to happen. Get out of here! Get out of the way! No, there's a heartbeat. It doesn't make sense. This? Why? Give it up. Unfortunately, because of your companion's recklessness, even if the being is behind the child's connection is capable as it is, there's nothing you can do about it now. I'm afraid I'll have something even worse to tell you. Wait, what that bell? What are you gonna do with it? I don't like meaningless questions, Professor. Obviously, you know I'm gonna do this. Is it real okay that I came with that store manager? Slowly whispers quietly Nico, who is exploring the room in front of her. He can't leave the building anyway, so what would be the use in telling him? No, that's not what I meant. Come on. That guy was born to cause trouble. And if he really knew about this, who knows what happened? I don't think we're in any position to say about anyone else. You're annoying. Now that we're here, let's get it over with. Okay. Slil watches Zack crack his knuckles and sighs as he kick away the small trapper on his feet. Not long after regaining her senses, Nico began to repeatedly urge everyone to start the investigation. This made Slil very curious. Even though Nico has agreed to be a member of the investigation team, she's never taken initiative before. She doesn't know why Nico suddenly cares so much, but Slil obviously couldn't let such a young girl go off on her own to what was once an incredibly dangerous place. Even if that young girl is much more experienced than herself and the factory is empty and peaceful again. Without the low barking and howling, the place suddenly feels empty. So empty it's now a different kind of scary. Lights haven't repaired yet, and aren't likely to ever be. The group is eliminating the place step by step with the light from their phone screens. From a higher point of view, this place doesn't look amazing at all. You could have climbed on to that table as a cat too, but you wouldn't have had a cat perspective all the same. Why does this feel so weird? It should be the complete opposite. Who knows? I think it's the simple... I don't think it's that simple to rewire the brain. I'm still not sure if I'm really intact again. I saw a Kika on the side of the road this morning, and almost jumped into a ditch in shock. That's lame. But we're still incredibly lucky. At least we got back to our true selves pretty quickly. I wonder if Scarlet's cat really is okay. It knows human language now, right? It's just a cat. Just turn a new leaf, right, Nico? Oh, why so silent? It's nothing. Nico shakes her head, pushing away Zack's hand that was about to pat her head. She walks over to the side of the room and fumbles carefully with something in the safe. It really is still here. Huh? Is it that book we saw the other day? Yeah, we didn't have time to get a closer look at it back then. The structure of origin and time. I like to see what may be hidden in there. Nico murmurs herself as she flickers through the book. Slil looks over Nico's shoulder, trying to read its contents. It's a tattered pile of paper, hastily stapled together. The whole thing looks very inconsistent, and the cover is a simple sheet of checkered paper. Despite its very humble appearance, the content of the book is simply astonishing. The author conducts a serious analysis on how to create a whole that connects different points in time, and the attached data is extremely detailed. The theory mentioned in the book is obscure, but the results is not too difficult to describe. A large amount of electrical energy is thrust into a structure made of superconducting devices, allowing the space near the structure to enter the co-temporal phenomenon, as the author calls it. Objects under the influence of this co-temporal phenomenon will no longer follow the linear characteristics of time, but will form closed loops. They will remain present in a state of constant being, regardless of which point in time they're currently in. In short, as long as the device that guides the co-temporal phenomenon is placed in a different space-time position and remains open, objects affected by it enter the co-temporal state and lose the continuity of space-time, simultaneously existing in two different points in time. According to text, it's possible to synchronize two different points in time and have them overlap. The author describes in detail the possible configuration of the aforementioned superconducting devices. However, he points out that the power requirement for all this is so immense that today's basic technology isn't equipped to handle such devices. Interestingly enough, the book seems to be classified as theoretical physics, but the author uses words such as prototype and reference sample, as if the results of some kind of ongoing reverse engineering are being reported. At the moment, we cannot find a device that could serve as a power source. This little box could potentially be used as a weapon, but it's so much more than that, brimming with limitless potential and endless possibilities. After reading this, I don't think it's a good idea to understand the content anymore. That's necessary. Haven't you noticed that place looks different? That was us. No, I mean an actual person. The color room is indeed a little different from how Slil remembers it. She examines the corners of the table carefully, noticing the gap between the table's edges and where the dust is settled. It gives her an uncomfortable feeling. Slil can't remember moving any of these things. There may be a lot of weird coincidences in this world, but a couple TVs don't make for such an amazing machine. That is something different. You think we're not the only ones who know about this place? It's just my intuition. It seems unnatural. As if someone is trying to protect this place by keeping it in the same state. Normally an abandoned factory wouldn't steal electricity anywhere. Wait, who's there? Huh? Nico's sudden reaction takes Lil by surprise. She can see a shadow moving from the corner of her eye. What's wrong? Hey, talk to me. Forget it. We have to go after it. Stop. Wait a minute. Hey, at least explain. I'll explain later. Hurry, to the basement. I know. Shut up. Nico, wait for me. An anxious Nico simply ignores Lil and disappears at the end of the passage. Shit. Do you think I could die from too much breathing? Listen. What should we do? Should we go after them? Don't be careless. We tend to act impulsively when we know something's wrong, but we gotta be careful. Nico! Not you too. Slim and Zach throw each other a worried look before trying to catch up with their friends, who run ahead without so much as a backwards glance. This isn't normal. Nico's usually the first one to hold the others back before they do anything rational. Even though Slil has known Nico for a month, she can't imagine what would make the otherwise so experienced girl act as disoriented. The store manager has always been reluctant to reveal anything about her past, but from what Nico has mentioned, it was definitely extraordinary. When such a straightforward attitude and professional skill that basically borders on magic overlap, it'd be hard for her to have turned out just like any other ordinary girl. What did she see that made her act so desperately? Does this have something to do with her past? What's going on? Could they do anything to help her? All kinds of thoughts race through Scylla's mind, and she almost forgets where Nico ran off to. She runs down the stairs as fast as she can, taking 3 steps at a time, before stepping into a dark room. She can believe her own eyes. The dense webs of cables is taking over most of space, just as it did before, and the odd apparatus in the middle is standing there, as if fast asleep. But it hasn't been shut down. It is breathing, as if it were a living thing. Its light expands, converges, and expands again with such regularity that even the pure white color itself seems to be alive. Salil is the only person in the room. She sees Zach, who looks dumbstruck. She sees Zach, who looks dumbstruck. She sees Nico, staring mindlessly at the apparatus, her eyes wide. She can see the thing reflected in Nico's eyes. The shadow is young, dressed in red, with 2 little pigtails. These are the first things that come to Scylla's mind, but she doesn't recognize the shadow. Nico does. Yasmin wakes up. Heh, it's really you. Oh, okay. Cold and monotonous. I can do that. No. Why are you here? No. Why are you here? No. Why are you... It has to be here. Slil isn't exactly sure what she's seen. She doesn't feel like she can trust her own eyes right now. Fortunately, this Yasmin doesn't pay any attention to her. It's time to get to work, Nico. At some point, a coil of cable appeared in Yasmin's hand. The next moment, Slil feels a cable around her neck. Now, let me see it. Well, that's about it. Do you want to go outside and find some meat? I sigh and cast my eyes over the few remaining occupants of the room. They don't react, but tension in the air has finally subsided a little. Even so, this isn't the time to crack a joke. I scratch my head, unsure of how to continue the topic. It is my first time working with them, but even Dan, who is usually the most flamboyant one of the lot, is suddenly so quiet that I can't help but worry about whether the rest of the job will go well. Although I've always heard about it, it wasn't until I recently sat down roots in Torah that I began to notice the city's restless and strange atmosphere. An uneasy feeling of hope is hidden beneath everything. Pedestrians and taxi drivers I chat with seem rather detached from everything around them. In any case, Torah isn't an isolated poor place, and it has recently begun its plans to open bridges to the surrounding economic centers, so there's a little reason for such gloom hanging over it. Thinking of it that way, the city's recent state of affairs is very curious. You're gonna grab a... The problem is I gave Nico such an uncaring voice. Separating them from Yasmin is a bit tough. You gonna grab a bite to eat somewhere else? You know, you could eat here too. Yasmin suddenly opens the door and pokes her head in, looking like she must have overheard a conversation. She is the daughter of the owner of the house and seems to be in 6th grade. Many generations of the Chu family have a unique musical talent. The little girl has been hosting our group of freaks on behalf of that busy follower of hers. Yeah, I'll go down and buy some snacks first. You guys should pack up. Okay, I'll change my shoes. I don't know how well that guy who has bad rotation knows his friends, but he probably doesn't know anything about them or sending a group of strangers to a school festival. Otherwise, as lenient as he is, he wouldn't have let his own children interact with us. In today's time, Torah Memorial High School will be celebrating its 8th anniversary, and Yasmin, a well-known local child star, has naturally been invited to perform. At the same time, we were secretly hired to investigate a series of supernatural happenings at the Torah Memorial High School. It's basically an impossible job. I smile bitterly. The amount of labor it would take to get that precious research manuscript is too much. Scarlett is probably doing it for the firm, and Dan is doing it to return the favor of helping him get his citizenship. As for Nico, as long as she can get out of that orphanage, she probably doesn't care where she goes. We've been called up many times for similar reasons. Nico was the last new member to join us, but I already know about the other two's strengths and weaknesses from past jobs. I sell my knowledge, Scarlett sells her quick tongue, Nico sells his talent, and Dan is often the one who actually faces danger. The combination certainly doesn't lead to any serious and decent jobs, so the fewer people who know the inside scoop, the better. The head of the Chu family has entrusted us with the taste of looking after Yasmin during the school festival, and we are left with the knowledge that there's a tiger lying in wait, which is pretty stomach-churning. I'm gonna go buy some snacks. You guys should hurry up and pack. Huh? Okay. Yeah, we'll go. Wait, huh? Why are you suddenly practicing your vocals, Nico? Didn't Yasmin sing inspire you? No, Stop talking to your Krish. I'll see you downstairs. As long as they remember what they have to do, this should all be fine. I got used to working with this bunch of weirdos pretty quickly too. There's still a lot to do today, but I should get in shape first. I'll open the door and try to grab a few breaths of air. He's finally gone. The little girl hides behind the door and breathes a sigh of relief. The body is very small, which makes hiding extremely easy, but the body size is obviously a problem. His strength has returned to that of a child, and he is having mixed feelings about it. Even the door is heavy. Set aside the age difference, children who grow up under different circumstances are decisively different. His childhood, while not extravagant, was acceptable. At least he didn't have to clean his own place. or run from the police in the streets, or be chased to death by the person who owned his wallet. And the difference in exercise has caused a very different muscles and physiques to develop. He can't swing his arms and develop as he usually would, since that would look as if you're trying to swim in midair. His body's also a little too light, so he has to be careful not to run into walls. He feels worse than he would in a straitjacket. When he turns back around, there's nobody in the hallway. That's a stroke of rare luck. If anyone were to see him like this, he'd be sent straight to a physique ward. That'd be good and all, but this isn't his biggest concern right now. The little girl walks back to the room, in which several people have gathered, and slams the door shut. What? The tall woman standing on the sofa cries out. It doesn't match his memory of the usually stern lawyer. He has the sudden urge to laugh, but is quickly overshadowed by the sheer mental exhaustion. Lighten up, will ya? The big guy next to the lawyer stands making weird noises, too. He isn't sure if the man's always like this, but it doesn't seem like it. He vaguely remembers his face, and those memories, the man's quite the opposite of stupid. As if all this is a cruel joke, as if his misery were serving as entertainment for fate itself. If madness could solve the problem, he would probably accept it just like that. Well, this isn't an option. He hasn't gotten to the bottom of the situation yet, and there's still a lot of work to do. Time to give up has not come yet. The two of them do look very unusual, but he himself isn't doing much better. It isn't a question of familiarity or lack thereof. The boss and the little girl he met earlier seem quite familiar with each other. They must know each other from somewhere, or even be working together. The bus group, however, is a different story. As a rule, people who know each other well would not be hovering in corners, surveying each other like this. Don't tell me. Scarlet is definitely having some kind of issues, and the other man seems very uncomfortable with the whole situation. Considering his own situation, a theory comes to mind, an absurd theory, but it's the most likely one. It could have been verified. However, for the time being, he has no intention of putting it to test. No matter how nervous the other two are, they shouldn't reveal their identities right now. Putting Scarlet aside, the other person is kind of scary. Why the hell are you here? If his memory is as accurate as he has prided himself on, the guy's appearance means nothing good. Although it may sound like trying to give someone else the blame, there is no doubt that Hyild's death has something to do with him. The boss seems to know this guy, even though he's never mentioned him at Hermitage. If he could have predicted his existence, perhaps few people have died on the rooftop. This so-called Suleiman's dust was quite effective. If he knew about it, he could have at least told them that such a thing existed. However, the boss said never said anything like that. In other words, the guy seems pretty dubious. What should he do now? Should he continue to pretend to be Nico? Or avoid the other two as to not arouse suspicion? He weighs in the pros and cons in his head, but standing still like this, he might be more suspicious, so that gives him a little time to think. He should find a place to sit down and wait for the others to make their move. He deliberately glances out the window and slowly approaches the sofa on one side of the room. However, the whole thing didn't go as planned. HBO. Huh? The young girl's voice coming from behind them. The door he closed himself just moments ago before must have been opened again very quietly, allowing the little girl to slip inside. Even though she has the key, the door lock still made a sound when she opened it. Although it's just a basic precaution to ensure that they wouldn't be overheard, she overcame it a little too easily. He turns around and surveys her carefully. The little girl, dressed in red and wearing pigtails, looks no different than she did just a moment before. However, her eyes are colorless, like two lifeless glass beads. This single fact has changed her completely. What can we do for you? Scarlet blurts out words timidly, and are up to pay off. At least it looked like they did. Very distant. You guys hard. What? Her words are followed by dead silence. Even a child wouldn't speak in such a strange way. She tilts her head slightly, as if she was trying to dig through the letters in her head and put them into words one by one. Her voice sounds completely emotionless, like a simple translation software. It sends goosebumps all down his back. Even if mildly inevitable, something has to be done. He hasn't grown used to his dainty figures yet, and the clothes wrapped around his thin body didn't have all the tidbits he's used to carrying around, but he has no intention of using obviously hostile tricks here anyway. He has to find a way to keep his conversation going, so he can gather more clues. He saddles towards the back of the couch, trying to make himself look more conspicuous. However, his mind betrays him as ominous memories start to emerge. Yes, he's seen this kid somewhere before. Wait, are you Yasmin? You don't... Ignoring everyone's dismay, the little girl walks down the room and stares straight at the remaining people, her two eyes strangely meeting everyone's gaze at once. The lights begin to flicker. Maybe it's just his imagination, or maybe not. He hopes it's the former, but things don't go as planned. She drops a second bomb. Hello, Salil, Zach, and Justin. What? I have no idea what's going on anymore. I'm just gonna read the text and solve the puzzles. I don't... So they work at... Whatever, alright. Not a very talkative day, huh? What's wrong, Dan? It's nothing. Just a little dizzy. Guess I'm not used to the climate down here. Yeah, I know that feeling. Don't you feel anything, manager? Come on. Do you really think I've been doing my job here for years the climate bothered me? If you can't tell the weather around Myanmar would kill you. The mosquitoes there are bigger than your fist. Anyway, cheer up. We're almost there. I sure hope so. Knowing they can't change the situation anyway, Zach buries himself in the van's back seat instead. Yasmin can't stop moving and keeps sliding around in her seat. Scarlet smiles at the sight of Leo's trademark way. As far as Nico is concerned, the situation couldn't be any worse. Justin's sudden change into a little girl bothers him more than words could ever describe. Okay, so Justin's Nico. Yasmin, what the hell's going on? What is the last thing you remember? The last thing, we were in a abandoned factory. Oh, we had a plan. We wanted to get rid of that machine. We went back there having recovered our bodies. Nico said... It's weird seeing Nico talking as Nico. Come on. Like, I know it's Justin. But... Nico said she saw something in Leonard's basement. And that's where we saw you. Then a pile of TV started to glow. I was getting pretty dizzy because there was light everywhere. There was a bundle of wires around my neck, and then... Wait. Did that instrument start up again? Replace. More than... At the same time. Replace, past, again, possible. If that was true about it being replaced, when you say past, you mean... No, that's not possible. That's ridiculous. I think I saw something about that somewhere in the newspaper around here. Ha, here it is. Let's see, joke aside, it could have just been that easy. What? What's wrong? The newspaper is from a year ago. Really? Here, 1 year ago. You look the same. You right here, a year ago. If that's actually true, Zach needs to calm everyone down and straighten his thoughts. which would have become a muddled mess. The world really doesn't care much for sense and reason. Besides, Zack can barely control himself right now. His body is flowing with energy. He feels as if he's controlling a barrel of dynamite. That guy Dan must have had an exciting past. His brain still needs some time to get used to his new body, while Zack has basically switched from an average car to a racing car. Justin driving Nico's body must be like changing to a tricycle. Not to mention our difficulties of suddenly becoming a girl and watch yourself take over your friend's body. He decides to chat with the others to ease the mental stress of being the largest and most intimidating body of the lot. Speaking of which, have you ever seen this boss this stern? You look serious. No, I haven't. When my classmates are in danger, the store manager was always serious, but even then he wasn't like this. Scarlett's voice is higher and quieter than it would usually be. He's like a person. Has he really not been replaced? The rest of us? Yasmin says no, so it's probably true, right? Yasmin, I wouldn't take her words at face value. The girl's strange fear didn't last long. After blurting out a couple of confusing words, she fell back on the couch as if she were completely exhausted. It took her nearly half a minute to regain composure. After she recovered, she looked even more surprised than anyone else. She had wandered around the room, asking the equally confused tenants what had happened. That put Salil and Justin in a tricky situation. It was with great difficulty that they turned their attention to today's trip and left the residence. If the whole thing had taken 5 minutes longer, the store manager would definitely have become suspicious. By the way, what does that kid want us to do with all that god-awful rambling? She said a mission had to be completed again. There weren't many details about it. It's all a blur, except for the fact that we have to follow the store manager's lead. I'm a little worried about something else as well. If we'd really gone back a year, aren't we looking to the past? Huh? I don't quite understand. What are you trying to say? I mean, maybe there are scaly silkworms here too. At that moment, Justin, who has been hovering on the sidelines as background decoration, finally speaks up. I would advise you to think about that. The guy didn't mention any risks like that at all. Moreover, Yasmin must have had her reasons for sending us here. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come by to say hello in person again. If she wanted to trap us with a scaly silkworm, it would be worth the risk, would it? Yeah, that's true. It can't very well come back to life, right? What's done is done, I guess. Nico sighs, cracking her knuckles, and shaking her head in helplessly. The two tufts of unruly hair that perched on the top of her head, like cat ears, flutter gently, similar to the real ones she had in her cat form. On an optimistic note, I've had worse things than this happen to me. I'll apologize to Nico later. What's good is that you're thinking mindedly. I don't think Nico is gonna see it that way. Getting a chance to apologize is better than getting no chance at all. I don't think I'll have time to worry about someone who isn't even here. So, do you really have to follow the boss around today? We're obviously gonna do something strange, aren't we? What else can we do? Right now we don't know what the strange part could be exactly. Let's find a way to play out the way it happened a year ago. With the store manager here, we must have some kind of knowledge, more or less. We'll be able to understand what happened later if we gather more information. Besides, it's important enough to find out who you actually are. I don't want to keep following a suspicious character around. Hey, not suspicious. Not you. Zack, but Dan is different. You said that you saw him in the park the other night. Have you forgotten? Oh yeah, okay. I don't quite understand what he meant by we went to the staging building to stir up trouble if he's a friend of the store manager. And if he seems the manager doesn't even know about that. It's not just a staging case. Let's not forget that he's also involved in the Gargoyle affair, too. I can't tell what this guy's up to. This whole thing's confusing. Either way, nothing good come out of this if the Star Manager's involved. Yeah, involved, not evolved. Right? No, what do you say about me? The subject of the conversation suddenly turns around in the front of the seat, looking curious. Down here in the back row, which was starting to get a little heavy, he's completely thrown off course. Zach's hands and feet scramble around frantically as he tries to lean casually against the window, pretending to be doing nothing. Nico is talking to Scarlet and Dan. Do you hear it too? I see. What are you whispering about? Think about what to do next. Say, we're going to that school, right? Oh, yeah. Tara Memorial High School? We're a sort of alumni who came together for the festivities. So at least the Dara won't be suspicious of our identities. But I guess there's no need to be nervous anyway. The guards are already going crazy with all the people helping the preparations. Isn't this a formality? Why would a middle school festival have to be such a high profile? Because the school is ridiculous high standing. Do you know how big it is? How big? It occupies over 900 acres of land. They have their very own mountain in the backyard. There is an audible intake of breath from everyone in the car. We're in a car? Oh yeah, we're in a car. Okay. Did not realize that was what this was supposed to be, but yeah, I see the front car window, the rear car, or the mid-car window, and then it's probably a rear window there. Okay. What? That big? Phoenix High, Miles High School? Kept advertising how big they were, and that was only 160 acres. That's why they call it a ridiculous school. They have enough resources to start their university. Well, that's not even a luxury anymore. That's paranoia, isn't it? Toa Memorial was built in honor to honor the city's honorable leading figures. That's why it's so unusually large. After all, it helps the city establish the city's great status. So it makes sense that it's so grand. Bush heard that they tore down family's ancestral shrine in order to build that school. Didn't know there were schools like that until now, so low-key. Basically, the public voluntarily put its tax dollars when the government was raised money for it. If it weren't for the strange incident, the city wouldn't have any complaints about it, and the whole thing certainly wouldn't be on the news so much. I think there was something last year. Memorial School had this huge school fair, and The Lord Stein frowns, cover her mouth quickly with her hand. Wait, what happened? What's going on? You're going all pale. I don't know. She looks around confused, as if she's lost our memory of what they were talking about just now. We can discuss our questions later, okay? Now get ready. Fine, we're almost there then? They've been surrounded by the identical sidewalks the whole time, so it's hard to figure out where exactly they are. There are parks and greenery all over the place, and Zach can't help but sigh and at the sight. To be precise, we're already there. We're just heading for the main gate. I didn't think my first visit to this place would be for this reason. A person can dream. While the store manager is trying to keep his composure, Zach spots an odd smile on his face. So, you thought about visiting this place before? Of course. Zach has never seen a store manager's eyes glaze over that. There is an excitement about him, similar to the child in the candy store. In my line of academic work, this is the legendary place known as the South's largest treasure trove. After getting out of the car, we walked for almost 500 meters before actually arriving at the school gates. The wall around the place goes on and on, seeming like it may never end. Tora Memorial High School must be a sign of glory for Mato's spoiled parents. The city's residents have built their very own castle in the sky, a sign of pride. That's Tora Memorial High School for you. It goes so far beyond anything that would actually be necessary for a middle school, both in terms of space and faculty. The school's artistic standard is among the best in Providence, and the status in mathematics competition isn't bad either. In the South, the name Tora Memorial equals excellence, and students' grades are only part of the equation. With that huge invested resources, the education students receive here is next to no other. However, that isn't the most important thing about it. Because school's long history, it has become a worldwide success. The graduates, scholars, and business tycoons associated with it are numerous. Even a couple sons of famous warlords have attended the school. They don't just accumulate knowledge here, but many more practical things as well. And what has become a long-standing tradition, the history building has been expanded into a more specialized museum to house the various documents and objects documented by alumni. This isn't for the sake of vanity. A variety of cultural relics have been the subject of numerous negotiations before it was agreed to keep them at school. After all, it takes more than just a big building to preserve their property. Researchers at the academic forefront have benefited greatly from the collections. As a result, it has gradually become more of a legendary place in certain circles. It's preferable not to set foot in the school under certain circumstances, but you'll never know. All they can do now is size the irony and take one step at a time. I guess I was worried for nothing. Nika can smell herself and stretches her arms as they walk across school grounds. Your attitude's gonna rub off on Yasmin. A lot of people will be arriving during the next 2 days and prepare for the school festival. The janitor should know something about the school arrangements. Huh? Really? Yeah, she seems to be pretty famous. We send Yasmin to the auditorium to prepare. She seems to be overly happy to begin rehearsal for the festival, as opposed to the rest of us who have to bury our heads in the investigation. Store manager, what can we do today? It looks like celebrations haven't started yet. The actual festival date is the day after tomorrow, and students wouldn't get much time off until then. Seniors seem to be free to decide whether they'll participate in the activities or study. After all, the teachers are participating in the event, so they won't be giving any classes. That's right. So let's just get a feel for the place today. Classes will end early tomorrow, and in many places, we'll be checking on them. We can't suddenly find out what they're doing though, right? Correct. The client prefer that nobody spot us going in or out of the areas that have been closed off. Kids that age tend to question everything and aren't that easily to deal with. In this case, they'd be right to question what we're doing though. I mean, do you have any better ideas, Nico? No, it just feels like every time we go anywhere with you, the situation escalates somehow. You say that as if you're not partially responsible for that. Remember when we went to the village to retrieve a book? If you hadn't said the wrong thing at the wrong moment, we would have had the book in 5 minutes. In the end, Dan had to come out and set things right. Oh, really? Hey, don't tell me you've forgotten about that already. It was 6 months ago. Blah, blah, blah. Just being honest. So what's the point today? Let's make a map of the school grounds first. We have to have it done by school festival, so we don't have much free time tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken, we should take a look at the playground, right? Yeah, and our road collapsed around there, and the place is surrounded by yellow tape now, so we'll have to see what's going on from a distance. Then there's the cause of vandalism in the school building. It's probably just a case of plain old vandalism, but the fact that the floor was dug up goes beyond a regular person's abilities. The damaged desk and chairs have been replaced, the walls and floor are still intact. Well, we can't go in while students are having classes, can we? According to the data, similar have been found near this history building in the library. Not many students hang around there, so we can check them out. As for the flattened animal carcasses that were found at the foot of the mountain, they won't have left them lying around. We can search for other traces. Does flatten mean squashed? It can't have been a truck, because that place is surrounded by pedestrian areas. It's possible to get through there with the vehicle. Sure enough, as like the kid said, Manager, you seem to attract strange things. Why else have the middle school approached us? Do you think we're better at catching simple thieves than those guards? Oh, well, probably not. The fact that the district high school can actually issue tasers is an eye-opener for me. That's why the problem has to be of a different nature. Come on, let's see what kind of unthinkable occurrence this can be that even the school can't fathom it. Where should we go next? I don't think it matters. Let's go to the sports field first. It's not a small field. Indeed, it's not small. Beyond the patches of green, white paint marks on each of the red running tracks, the sight in front of me reminds me of American colleges, but it's even more spectacular. Your country's nerve call itself a developing country, but you already have sports fields this size for middle schools? I bet you anything that there isn't even 10 senior high schools that reach the standard. Too close-minded. I bet you there are 5. Football field, basketball court, badminton court. I heard they even have a beach volleyball court, but I can't even see it from here. At this point, that doesn't even surprise me anymore. Hey, isn't that the problem we're talking about? I think it is. There are 3 tennis courts near the foothill. Near the foot of the hill. However, unlike everywhere else, there are no students around. The area around the field is quiet and the entrance closed. The school must have recently sealed off the entire site. It is surprising. Half of one of the 3 pitches is occupied by a pothole. Did you just call a tennis court a pitch? Really? Really? Like, I could see the hole in the tennis court. It's not a pitch. Why would it be a pitch? Like, come on. At the moment, they're saying that it must be some kind of landslide. But as you can see from the mountains train here, even a rock rolled down from above, it wouldn't have created that kind of crater in the ground. It'd be more realistic to attribute this to a meteorite or an aerial bomb. That doesn't really matter, the students would get suspicious either way. Hey, it looks like something's flashing down there. It's a simple crater. There's no way a meteorite could hit the ground quietly, but no one heard anything of the sort on the day of the incident. And I don't think the average meteor crater would be this deep. We can't see much from here, so should we go over there and take a look? Forget about it. That'd be suspicious too. 4 people checking out the forbidden area of the grounds. It'll probably take more than 5 minutes before somebody notices something's wrong. Alright, you're the boss. Alright, where next? Let's go to the mountainside path. It takes us quite some time to find the clearing our client was talking about. Alright. It's right behind one of the warehouses that was used when the school was being built. All a matter of bushes and shrubs that have been planted, probably keep the rain from washing down too much dirt. Most of it cast into a shadow. There aren't any more buildings in the vicinity that are related to teaching activities. There's a strange room, filled mainly with broken chairs and desks. Apart from faculty and staff, nobody would have any reason to be hanging around this place. All the sites have been cleared. Faint patches of dark red are still visible on the concrete and the mountainside. Whoa, seriously? Looks like a wild cat or dog's here. Poor thing. You're right, manager. The only vehicle that could get through here would be a motorcycle. Then it takes a large step to measure with the road. But you couldn't crush an animal like that with a motorcycle, could you? Cars are bad enough. I've seen little creatures cross the road and... Listen, Nico, can we please not talk about that? Oh, are you afraid of that kind of thing, Scarlet? Stop it. It sounds just so disgusting. All in all, unless someone has nothing better to do than come here and hit wildcats for fun, the cause of this mess is quite weird. Why do you guys look so pale? I think I've already said why. The argument's a bit too much even for me. And you call me a cat at least once a day. Dan, can you identify your traces? Oh, let me see. Let's see, that is blood, yes. And there seems to be some hair stuck to it. This length, it doesn't quite look like it's come from a dog. There's too little left for me to draw conclusions. Wait, let me take another look. He's almost lying flat on his stomach, scrutinizing the bloodstain. Some of the hair is so bent that the bodies might have been dragged away from the blood have dried somewhat already. How should I put this? It's like when you press something hard against the ground and simultaneously pull it to the side. Please don't set my stomach again, you dummy. It's just me making curious about what state bodies were in when the school recovered them. Where did they take them? Didn't say anything, but he points towards the mountain. On the mountainside? That's not good. Can we go up there and see? The back of the mountain is usually pretty much sealed off. Can you see that wire fence in front of those trees up there? Is it because it's a temple? Good memory. I think it must be it. Besides, it'd be too dangerous to have unsuspecting people wander into the woods. I wish we weren't unsuspecting people ourselves. We won't be, at least for now. If it becomes necessary, we'll have to slip past the guards. You just announced we might commit a crime, even when changing your expression? You really are a tough guy at heart, Manager. From what you're saying, we'll either have to face an opponent who weighs over half a ton, or a dangerous psychopath. Either way, we mustn't act rashly. That makes sense. Shooting from the school? Well, school probably knows more about it than we do. I'd like the chance to ask what it's like around here on a regular basis. Maybe get some insights. Alright, let's go check out some other areas. Yeah, where should we go next? Maybe let's come here a little later, shouldn't we? It's difficult to get anywhere around here. The library is no exception. The students here are more interested in books than the school kids I remember, and group students going in and out of this place, this quaint-looking building. A place in which books are stored has inherently ritualistic feel to it. It is quite lit with tall windows. At the surrounding trees circle the building as if it were a sacred realm of knowledge. I was joking when I said university level resources were invested, and those 6,000 square meters of space prove that. By the way, I'd love to borrow a book about the school's history. Is there any way I could? I don't suppose they lend to people we don't attend. If you mentioned it to her earlier, our client might have a solution. What would you be looking for exactly? Just a little more information, Manager. You said the results of this whole situation can't be explained by common sense, right? They must have tried everything they could think of before they went to the trouble of finding us. In other words, there's no harm in thinking outside the box. You mentioned on the way that some alumni donate items to the school. I'm kind of curious to see if there just happens to be something out of the ordinary in there. Like an ancient book that summons strange creatures? That kind of piece that can pierce your hand? You know, if you don't simply talk to them, then no one will take you for a dumbass. Dan, we're sure about that stuff. Oh, it was just a joke. It would be funny if it turns out to be true. I think you believe in that sort of stuff, Nico. But if you find we won't find those kinds of records in the library anyway. Huh? Why? All done materials are stored in the historical library, not here. This library is basically open to all students, and they wouldn't want to be showing that kind of stuff to the school kids, right? Yeah, true. The history of the building is a little difficult to reach, so I'd like to take a look at all the other places before we go there. Alright. Okay, where next? School building. The school building. Several tall buildings before us at subtle amplitude. The whole school is nestled on a hill, and the largest building is no exception. The building is covered in red tiles that look like prime bricks. Perhaps we're just in time for the end of class, since countless students are walking through the halls, their white uniforms visible through the corridors. There are so many people, that'd be hard to get inside. I was expecting to be able to go inside today. Someone would be watching us the whole time. So is this where that strange thief took place? Here and there. I recall information I was given and point to the two buildings southeast. There were signs of theft in the school building and the chem lab. The chemistry building is furthest from us. There are students everywhere. How do we even have the guts to go in and steal anything? You must have quite some nerve. That's making the whole thing pretty suspicious, isn't it? The chemistry building is mainly used for practical activities and science tutorials. There are usually fewer people there, but there are classes at all times, so there's not much opportunity to slip inside. At least during the day. Yeah, a couple seniors had another class and discovered theft. It's quite possible to happen at night. Even all the damage of the tables and chairs happen overnight. It would have caused a lot of noise, right? Were there reports from the school about that? None that I've seen, at least. Also, it's likely that somebody punched a couple of holes in the concrete wall just in passing. So we should probably think about think outside the box here. Right, so you want to go tomorrow? Yeah, that's the plan. In preparation for festivals, classmates will be dismissed half a day early tomorrow, and there'll be a few people around. So let's keep that in mind and look somewhere else. Okay, where next? Wait, we've seen everything, right? Damn, my feet are starting to hurt. Oh, come on, should I carry you? No need. What are you grinning about? But it's true. We should have searched half the school without realizing it. For 900 acres. Even though it's just a walk, it was exhausting enough. We've checked out more than half the area, haven't we? That's 400 acres. I think you better not to keep track. Let's go back to history building again. Scarlet, you're looking for some information. Better have seen it than rely on my guesswork, so let's go. This... I'm actually better off guessing what's inside. This building wasn't difficult to find. It takes us to the corner of the grounds, connected by 3 or 4 low roads. It's quite a show-off. However, the interior of the tall building in front of us is a different story. Whoa! It's nice about whoa, is it? It's nice about whoa. Right? Am I going crazy? It's WHOA, right? Yes, WHOA. Okay. Oh, it's common misspelling. I have never seen woe spelled like that. Because that doesn't even... That's wah. Woa. That's... whatever. Alright. Whoa. Is this a school building or a bank vault? This is just too much. Have you ever seen a bank vault surrounded by tape? He might have somewhere far abroad. Well, that's not the point. Even if there's a really precious item collection in there, this isn't normal. More than a dozen security guards stand in front of the door, as if they were on the verge of an attack, and every one of them is armed. The weather is stiflingly hot, but they are still armed to the teeth. No normal museum would ever see this kind of treatment, and a few students are pointing and keeping their distance. You know, all I heard is that someone missed from the school. I didn't know it was Asuri and Lupin who stole the item. Don't ask me, our client didn't say anything about this. We've got ourselves into another one of those situations, haven't we? Doesn't look like there's another way in. The more questions you ask, the less than I can answer. So should I get closer? No, let's not poke the horse nest. Dan throws his hands in the air in defeat. Calm down. The guys are just doing their duty. Then I suddenly hear a steady voice beside me. Ah, the principal. I know you're here. The middle-aged man suddenly appeared next to us, accompanied by a female student. His expression is serious. He's dressed in a formal suit. The inside of his shirt is barely hidden and drenched in sweat. The girl next to him looks tired. Ah, are these the helpers you mentioned? They might prefer to be called companions. I guess I didn't take account the age. And I guess you didn't take account the... What? I guess you didn't take age into account as some work, okay. I guess you don't take age into account in this line of work, do you? His gaze lingers on Dan and Scarlet for a moment, before it moves on to a silent Nico. I'll try to find a place for her to go to school when she's done with her work on this job, so don't start talking about child labor. If you like, you could consider attending our esteemed school, Just call me Nico. Nico, I mean, our school will be a great place to further your education. Think about it. After all, I am very grateful that you got involved in all of this. Please, give me the opportunity to repay you for your efforts. Nico shows place. Her eyes widen, clearly lost for words. She probably uses kindness, even if it's basically a fair trade. You better not regret that offer. You probably don't want a kid who can wander around your school's servers, like her own backyard, to stay here for 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years for middle school? What? What? I guess I don't know anything about the Chinese education system, but 3 to 5 years for middle school. Jesus, okay. Well, you just need to lead talent into the right direction. He starts loudly, revealing his confidence as an educator once again. We'll talk some more later. Even if it's a favor, I won't count on it until you finish the mission, right? The Prince's smile becomes a little more genuine. Speaking of things that get done, you see him raise the bar when it comes to security around the history building. Can you tell us why that is? After all, we're going to, While trying to get some more information from our client, I suddenly realized there's a stranger present. It's okay. She's a student president, and she's very reliable. I was just about to explain the situation to her, and have her show you around the place. As you know, this year's 80th anniversary celebration is even bigger than usual, and I simply cannot spare the time. I nod understandingly and turn to the girl who's standing next to the principal. In that case, I'm going to direct all my questions to you. What's the name? Sending a confident, young female voice. That's not Nico. Quinn, and I'm happy to help. Actually, she looks older than Nico. The student president shakes my hand politely. Dan, who's watching the sidelines, suddenly starts shaking with laughter. You seem a pretty lucky guy, manager. What's the secret? You realize that there's a time and place for cracking jokes, and this isn't one of them. I mean, they're middle schoolers. What are you doing here? No harm done, but time's of the essence. So I'd like to answer your questions quickly. The principal suddenly regains his composure and takes a step closer. Caught up in the sun-changed atmosphere, everyone huddles closer together. Shortly after entrusting you to this difficult task, we had another case of items that have gone missing. That's really... Allow me to make a more reasonable assumption here. That's why you stationed so many security guards in the history building? That's correct, ma'am. This time the theft occurred in the history building. That's a pretty big issue, isn't it? There are some really valuable items there, right? Pretty big issue pretty much covers it. Please, keep it confidential for the time being. The middle-aged man smiles grimly. And I now have an inkling as to why the two of them are so mentally exhausted at this point. The item that we're missing in the archaeological artifact is an archaeological artifact of national importance. A true treasure. Everyone is stunned. Quinn is wearing an embarrassed expression. This isn't something that is easily admitted, after all. We immediately investigated the surveillance video, but as you know, we'd already asked for help long before that. I'm guessing that must have had a rather unusual reason. It was the only thing that was plucked out of a glass container, which is probably a blessing in disguise. The artifact is supposed to be on display at the festival the day after tomorrow, so it really is the worst case scenario. That's not good. Can you closer look? Sorry, maybe not today. In addition to the glass container, the air conditioning in the showroom is messed up. We just had experts come in today and overhaul it. If we don't restore consistent temperature again soon, we will run into major problems with several of the older exhibition pieces. So that's why it's so warm in there? That's one hell of a strange condition. We only have the best possible security surveillance in the history of the building. Who could have ever seen this coming? The only thing left to do now is to try to solve the most critical situation first. They're esteemed that they're able to fix the entire system today, but there may be some delays. Could you possibly come back to here tomorrow and have a look around? I understand. There is no way around it then. We have to deal with several heads of departments who would like to inquire about the crime. Please, excuse me. I don't think it's a good idea for us to use the phrase like inquire about the crime in case someone hears you. I can't help but smile bitterly. You've had a lot of bad luck recently. But the more you get used to it, the calmer you'll be. Ignoring Dan's comments, the principal wipes his brow again, then takes his leave. The student councils follow suit. Wow, they're really something. Scarlet and Nico elbow Dan there at the same time. So what's going on? No more such a crowd around here. New variables have suddenly been added to the situation. I can't help but worry whether we're prepared enough for tomorrow's investigation. How about this? Should we retreat? No, now's not time for that yet. It's better not to give up on commissions you've already accepted. I don't think it's as simple as that. Staying your ground here won't get us anywhere. We can talk about this whole thing some more when we get back. I allowed a long sigh and follow the crowd towards the school gates. Today was really exhausting. After dinner, Nico instantly lets herself fall into the sofa. For some reason, Yasmin doesn't seem to like a new friend, and keeps pulling at her hair. Within a few seconds, the two have started to fight the sofa. He must be really young. God, my shoulders are sore. Do you want me to give you a massage? Do you want to die? You're boring. It seems like Scarlet and Dan have suddenly become unusually familiar with each other, but I see no reason to have asked them about their private matters. After all this time investigating things together, it wouldn't be surprising if something happened between the two of them, I guess. The weirdness of my own thoughts is making me more confused. In attempts to get them out of my head, I sit down on a small sofa and pull my laptop to organize my schedule for the day. Is this just an illusion, or did you guys make a list of 3 days worth of workload that we didn't have time for today? Nico's head appears next to me, her expression becoming ever more desperate. I know there's no way around it, but this might actually kill someone. There's really nothing we can do about it. Also, we don't have 3 days, because the students don't get off school until early tomorrow afternoon, so we have half day available at full capacity. That's see more problem. Let me see. Scarlet takes a notebook and sits down at the sofa's armrest. Check to say the playground in the school's history building. That really has to wait until the place is emptier. Go to the school building and ask the students for information who could have done it. That should be a problem. Yeah, the girl named Quinn probably knows more. We gotta ask some questions. Exactly. Then on the mountain to confirm the situation, well, that's fine. Even though I don't know exactly what we want to confirm. The kitchen defense, and if possible, talk to a nearby janitor or something. I know it's a little hard to start a conversation, but I'm worried about these traces in the area. It's pretty much bullshit. Please stop using that word. Half a day should be more than enough for that, so what's the plan? Nico acts very mature and shuts the others down in a sentence. I think we best split up so we can cover more ground. We don't want to have someone overlooked just by checking up locations. Agree. Nico can check our playground. Simplest job. Fine. Then I'll go with Quinn and ask her to take me to her classmates. Yeah, play your advantages, right? I hope two of you don't get. I hope the two of you together don't get the boys too excited. Shall we swap? I'm not sure I can deal with kids that age. I think we'd better suited to check the history building, at least the warehouse. Dan rubs his forehead, making him look like he doesn't quite know what to do with himself. A sudden thought pops in his mind. Maybe it's just the exhaustion from all the work we've been doing. Act like a foreigner. Just go over there and have a look around. And pretend you don't... know anything if someone asks. That should give us a better chance of pulling this off, right? You're right. I'll pretend to be a foreigner. I am one. Yeah. Just please practice your Spanish accent some more. It's easier said than done. Even split up, that's still a lot of work to do. What else can we do? Get Jazz to help us out? Forget it. They'll see you for child labor. I'll see you for differential treatment first. So be it. Let's take this one step at a time. There's no use in guessing blindly, since they hire us to catch a culprit who stole the artifacts. We analyze this situation properly. I indicate that this conversation has come to an end and prepare my return to my room. Oversensitive nerves will help the investigation. Everyone seems to be in a strange mood today. I guess they just need some time to adjust. Jeez, other than that, I think grabbing a shower is the most useful thing you guys do right now. Alright. Alright, and that's where we'll end it. So yeah. We'll play some actual LA Noire in the next part here. But that'll be for the next part. Until then, peace.